ridiculous.
Well, here's the thing.
Maybe. Sometimes.
Tell me about this. I want to know more.
Oh, yeah. No.
Holy cow.
We've had a lot of fun.
My son is walking to and from school, and it is a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Oh, wow.
It's it's only been a couple of weeks, and it's still like amazing to me every day that I don't have to drop everything.
You keep grabbing your car keys and then thinking, no.
Yeah,
It's like you have a whole new life.
I know. I mean, it's not going to last that long because pretty soon I'm going to have to start picking up my daughter after school. Because at the moment she has tennis after school every day. So I pick her up usually, but not until later.
Yeah.
And that's going to end. But still,
Wow.
it's so nice.
The morning is nice because you at least then get a little extra time before you
Yeah.
have to start your day.
Mm-hmm.
It's very nice.
I understand. My daughter is a free agent when it comes to travel. It's wonderful. I love it. I had to pick her up from her after her golf tournament last night. I had to pick her up from school because she couldn't take her car in the morning for some reason. And I was like a little put out. I'm like, what? What do you mean I have to be at the school at 8 p.m.? I haven't seen you since 7 p.m., but still, or 7 a.m., but still, it's a tad, inconvenient for me to get up off the couch.
Right. I might be watching TV at that time.
I might be, I was finishing off Ozark, so, it was important. So I understand. I was a little ticked at that.
I had it easy in early days because my kids both took the bus, the special education bus that comes right to your door.
Oh, gosh,
and takes your kids and then drops them right off. So that was very nice. And then I started to notice that to get to the school 10 minutes away, it was taking an hour. And I thought, you know what? Probably there's better things those kids could be doing than sitting on a bus.
Yeah.
So I started taking them myself for a while. And then, of course, when they were at the high school, they were right next door. But I still walked with my son because there's a road through the school that people dropping their kids off in a hurry just speed down like it was a car race. Mm-hmm. And I just could completely see him getting flattened. You take the kid who has poor impulse control and judgment and people who are driving like, they're escaping the city just as the grand earthquake hits, and there's going to be a problem. So
a recipe for disaster.
Yeah. So eventually they were able to walk by themselves, and I just watched them through the window with my heart in my throat. But it's nice when you don't have to do that at all anymore.
Yes.
Congratulations, Catherine.
Yes. I mean, it's for 2 years that he's at this school, and I know that there will be complaining when it gets really cold, and I may give in, but
does he have to still tow the enormous musical instrument?
No, he's leaving that at school, and we're trying to get another one for him to have at home.
That is the way to do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
When I was his age, I had to walk to school in the depths of winter in Northern Ontario.
Sure you
So
did.
you
Uphill
can
both
let
ways,
him
Nicole?
know. Yes, exactly.
With no shoes?
No shoes. That is correct.
Yes.
Minus 35.
Well, this segues really well into our first topic. But first, Nicole,
that's right.
Open us up here.
Yeah. Okay. Hello, and welcome to Parenting Roundabout, a weekly podcast about the things that parents are talking about, obsessing about, and complaining about right now. I'm Nicole Erdix, and with me are Terri Morrow.
Hello.
And Catherine Haleko.
Hi there.
And today on the podcast, we are talking about bad parenting advice on our Friday speed round. We are going to shout out some stuff we like on the Roundabout Roundup and do some shameless self-promotion. But first, we are going to chat about this generational attitude that I have and generational attitudes in general towards parenting. And, now that we are kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel or have our foot on the other side of the gap, as Terri would say, or
Yes.
Catherine.
Whoever typed the script this week would
Whoever
say.
typed the script this week, we can kind of speak with a little bit of authority and expertise and share our wisdom and our advice. And
Kids
So,
today with their bad
Yes.
parenting ideas and their
Yes.
selfies and their Instagram photos of their babies.
I know.
Not like when we were parents and you had to go to this drugstore and get the photo printed out on paper and take it to people. Go to their houses and
Exactly.
show them pictures
Yeah.
or your actual baby. Kids today, they got it so easy.
They have no idea.
Yeah, you know what? Every generation feels like things were better or harder or more real in their day. And kids today don't understand. They do such stupid things. Nicole found this article, the slideshow on
Snarky
topics.com.
article.
Yeah. You know how I feel about snarking against
Yeah.
parents. I have to just I need to get a soundbite of me saying, every parent and child and family is different. We should not judge each other. I'm just going to hit a button every time we do one of these topics because I get tired of saying it. But, certainly it's easy. It's easy and it's fun to sit as the disapproving elder and look at the way younger people do things. I don't have that much of an appetite for it, but I wanted to, I thought it was worth discussing and seeing, how do you do this when our kids are mostly grown and we're looking at people just starting out? Do you revel in your ability to snark at them? Do you feel, which is clearly how Nicole feels, do you hold back, as I tend to do? Or do you do some mixture of the two? Catherine, what is your attitude on this? Are you seeing young parents out in the wild and going, look at that? I'm going to go tell my friends on Facebook about that. We're going to have such a chat on our messenger. Wait till I tell Nicole and Terri what I saw.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I like to think I don't, but, I think it is a natural tendency,
kinda irresistible.
It is kind of irresistible to be like, these people don't know what they're doing, and I do.
Yes.
Right?
That's the piece of the puzzle I think I have a problem with. Is I'm not feeling like an expert lately. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. Can we roll back and can I do it that way? That looks good.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely don't feel like an expert in much of anything. But, when you see, I don't know, some of this sort of extreme baby proofing things that are available, and I just think, how about, teach the kid not to do that, or, that kind of thing, which, it doesn't work for every kid.
My
so
son walked into so many things when he was little.
Right.
He opened
and
doors into his face.
Yeah. But I mean, you would have had to have just a full on,
We would have had
bubble
to
wrap suit in order
and
to
then he would have
fix
found
that.
a way to hurt himself with that, pretty much,
Right.
for sure.
He would
But
have,
it
swallowed
means
the
I thank goodness for all the people who did not judge me, or at least judged me quietly behind my back, and did not call Child Protective Services when he showed up with some new gash on his face
Right.
from
Well, and-
getting kicked
and,
by somebody on a swing.
There's certainly, I had my son pull down a full chest of drawers onto himself by climbing up it. And,
Didn't have a race to the wall, did you?
Did not, but soon did after that happened. So, things happen. And I can't think of a good example of some of the ones that seem, I don't know, knee pads for crawling babies or something that you're
Oh, gosh.
My son used to get splinters in his knees on the deck from crawling.
Right, but did you put knee pads on them, or were you
If they had been available to me and somebody had suggested them, I might have. I don't remember
Not sure
what
you
I
have
did.
an argument here, Catherine.
I got pretty tired of pulling splinters out of his knees.
Yeah, that's not
Pants, I guess. Perhaps we
Yeah,
used
exactly.
pants
How about just pants?
in summer in New Jersey. Here,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
I might have put socks around his knees.
But I think, but in general, I agree with what Catherine was saying. Like, if you look at sort of the average, in general, kind of parent today, there's a lot of extreme things going on. I don't know. Would you
Such
say?
as? Share a few.
Okay, I'm going to share something that is really
Snark,
pricking
and then
me
I will
lately.
judge you.
I'm not sure you have anything to judge me about this one.
We'll see.
Okay, and this was actually in the
I'm pretty
article I
good at
read,
it.
which kind of got me going because I'd been like, grumbling about it beforehand. And that's these baby reveal announcements that are plastered all over Facebook and Instagram, and I just feel so like, what, first of all, why the need for that? I don't know, the extra attention, I guess. Is that really bad to say that? But
Well, is it really bad to want it? I mean, I don't know. It's a fun time in your life. You don't want to...
It is, but...
I represent the laissez-faire side of our team here. What does it hurt?
Okay, but the effort and the extreme ways that people go to revealing the boy or girl, I don't know, I just feel like it's really kind of like me. It's not really about the baby.
Okay, let me ask a question. Did you promote or support your son in doing a promposal?
He planned it on his own. I wasn't that fussed about it.
It seems like it's the same genre as that instead of doing a simple thing, we make a party out of it, or a big thing that we can film and put on social media.
Well, that's the thing. I think it's about me. That's my issue.
Do they put, like, pictures of the birth? Like video? Is anybody doing that?
There's everything.
That I would have a problem with. Nobody wants to see that. I don't know.
Stomachs and, tummies, pregnant tummies, and I don't know. I just, and professional photos for the baby reveal. And I'm thinking, wow, this is really extreme. It's, as my daughter would say, it's really extra. It's a little bit too much.
Well, it kind of sets you on a path, right? Where, okay, so you got to do the gender. First, you have to do the announcement that you're having a baby. Then you got to do the gender reveal thing. Then you got to do, the baby's born announcement. Then you got to do, photos every month and a big birthday party and,
Oh, that's right. The first birthday smash the cake party or cake smash party. Right. And then, but then in the first year of life, it's every month.
Photos.
On the blanket or something to show the growth or yeah. I don't know. Don't you feel like it's kind of a bit much?
Let the kids have their fun. This way.
The kids, as in the parents of the baby.
The parents. I call them kids now from my elderly point of view. How does it hurt? Let the kids have their fun.
I don't know. It's like the Pinterest of parenting. You just can't ever, you just feel so inadequate all the time when you look at those pictures.
I feel like there must have been an equivalent, though, when we were young parents, and the generations before us must have had an equivalent. Humans will always try to make other humans feel less spectacular than them. Isn't that just sort of a way?
I think basically it was, do you use cloth diapers or not?
Yeah. There's always judgy and always people who did everything just so, and you felt like, I can barely scrape myself out of bed in the morning. This child cries all night. How is this person doing everything so beautifully and perfect? Mm-hmm. Used to be, you would see them at church, or you would see them around the community, or your mother-in-law would say, well, so-and-so seems to be having a grand time. Mm-hmm. Now you see it on social media.
Every day.
Well,
every day.
Mute them. Mute them.
Oh, sigh. Wait till my kids.
Soon enough, their kids will be in school and they will be completely overwhelmed by things and they will shut up. But for now,
are you saying let them have their fun?
That's exactly what I'm saying. Not that it's not annoying, but you don't have to look.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, you don't have to share everything.
You used to have to look if they're at church or in the community. But now you can just put them on.
It's annoying.
If they're on Facebook, what is it that you don't see them in your timeline?
Yeah, you can mute them.
Yeah.
Mute them.
I don't know.
Block them on Twitter. I mean, certainly talk about them behind their back in private
Of course.
all you want, but let them have their fun.
Or on your podcast, for example.
Yeah, exactly. So that's kind of I feel like that there's a lot of extra stuff going on these days, like just for show or to make it look like parenting is so easy and look at me, I'm a wonderful parent.
But see,
and
do you think those things make parenting look more easy, or do you think it makes it look like an unending requirement for creativity that seems intimidating?
Well, I think it makes it look like those people have somehow mastered that.
Yes.
And how are they doing it? And you can't.
Make a little note to check back with them in like 12 years.
I think that's the thing. And you see it every day. It's on your news feed. It's in your, it's everywhere.
I clearly have underwhelming young parents in my eyes. My nephew and his wife occasionally post adorable pictures of their daughter, but I haven't seen anything like that. No, she's she's like, gosh, I'm such a bad aunt. I'm a terrible aunt. I think she's maybe 5, but she's been growing up nicely. I've enjoyed the pictures that I've seen, but it hasn't been over the top. Who else do I know who's had babies? I don't think I haven't. I know some people. I follow some people on Facebook who have babies, and I don't think there's been anything of that nature. So perhaps you people are just following exhibitionists.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, and especially my son, his friends are getting to the age where they're starting to take life a little bit more seriously. So yeah, I think maybe that's the thing. Maybe I'm just inundated with it. But I'm feeling very, I don't know what it is. I just couldn't do it I just don't know how they do it.
Yeah. I skipped all that baby stuff. So I had a very nice adoption shower, but that was about it. Then social media didn't exist then. So
no,
I was so completely overwhelmed that we weren't showing off anything for anyone other than just crying on the shoulder of people on adoption support groups. I'm so overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Now what?
Right.
Well, I think we were all feeling that way when we had our babies that just kind of showed up.
Maybe these young kids are too. And I often feel for myself that I often drown myself in work, not only because I need the money, but also because I'm good at work. The parenting stuff, oftentimes, not so good at. So maybe there are people who've been doing social media their whole lives. They don't know how to raise this kid, but they know how to put together something cool on Instagram, man. That they can do. So maybe that's what's going on here. Maybe they're like, I can't handle this. I'm going to go and spend 3 hours putting something nice on Facebook. I'm going to go blog about this, honey. You take care of the kid. That I can completely understand. Perhaps that's what's going on. It's denial of the reality.
And whereas when my kids were growing up and were young, maybe I have a deeper resentment. As I think this through, this is like therapy. So when my kids were younger, my husband traveled all the time. Yeah. So I was, I wasn't a single mom, but I was close to being, on my own a lot. Parenting, raising these kids. So was and working full time and, dropping them off at daycare at 6 a.m. and feeling super guilty about it. So yeah, those photo albums and those scrapbook albums and those, homemade lunches and handmade Halloween costumes did not exist in our world.
And did you feel like the people who trumpeted that were judging you?
Of course.
So now, when these young kids are doing all this stuff, maybe you're getting a little bit of that vibe. So you're going to give it back to them, since you're an old lady now and can shake your cane in their direction.
And I'm like, you have no idea what you're in for.
Back in my day.
I know what you're up to. It's fake.
Punks. They're all punks.
It is fake news.
Well, Catherine, you also saw an article that was something about that kids are postponing typical adult stuff like driving and drinking and dating Do we think this is related in any way, or makes it more difficult for parents, or less difficult? Drinking is one of those things. Perhaps that's okay, honey. You don't need to get that adult milestone. Maybe when you're 40, I'll buy you a beer. But
well, I think that's one of those things where a generation could, an older generation can say, why aren't these kids more independent? Why aren't they driving? Why aren't they getting jobs in high school? And sort of blaming it on helicopter parenting when really there's a lot of societal stuff that's going on that makes it way more challenging than it may have once been.
Yeah, I mean, and certainly alcohol is a problem amongst youth now too. We hear on college campuses a lot and stuff like that. But the fact that, I mean, I wonder whether 12 years of anti-drug programs in the auditorium of your school and the crashed car prom thing has any long-term discouraging effect. Kids may just feel, you know what, that doesn't sound like it's worth the trouble. My kids are 24 and 27, and neither of them drink. My daughter is completely disinterested, and my son every now and then says, can I? And I say, well, if you want to, do it first with us so we know how it affects you. Don't go out and do it with friends. And he has fetal alcohol syndrome, so he really shouldn't. But, the worst thing to do is say never, no, so. Yeah. You don't want to do that. But I certainly would rather him try it around me so we can see how it affects him rather than out with strangers or friends. So that's a constant worry. But neither of them is, challenging me on it particularly at all. And my husband and I don't drink, so we have no alcohol in the house. So it's not like it's something they've seen. But, and my son loves cars, loves keys, no interest in driving. And he has a friend who, actually none of his friends drive. So I think there's something to it. And I also think in terms of independence, it's really hard these days. My kids can't get full-time jobs. Now, they both have special needs, but still, it's difficult out there. My husband had trouble getting a job. I've had trouble finding anything that was full-time. It's not as easy, I think, as when we were younger.
Right.
And so if you can't, I've had people tell my daughter she should move out. It's like, what is she going to, she works 12 hours a week. How is she going to move out? What apartment is she going to be able to afford? How many people is she going to have to share it with? And, and she could, if she could buy a car, she can't afford insurance for a car. She can't afford maintenance. She can't afford gas. So I don't think that this is unique to kids with disabilities. I think a lot of kids in this age group are just caught with no particular way to be independent. So it's, I feel for them and will not make fun of them when they put their babies' pictures on. But if they're still living at home, they're not dating, they're not driving, they're not drinking. So maybe no babies. I don't know.
And in the original slideshow that prompted this whole thing, I felt like there was a lot of judgment about, young adults and how they live their life. Yes. And so this other piece that, showed research that showed that, kids are doing these things that are traditional markers of adulthood, that they're doing them later. Yeah. I think it makes sense, and there's a lot of reasons behind it, and the reasons are not, because their parents kept them sheltered. Yes. That's just not the case. So I don't think the parents should be judged for that.
My mom was a total helicopter mom, and I couldn't get away fast enough, but I had much better resources for doing that. I got a job right away, and I got, I had money in the bank from working in high school and all of this, so.
See, I beg to differ once again. I'm seeing a different age group of kids, and had a conversation recently with a mom, and most of the kids my daughter's age, not most of them, let's say maybe half of them, have or are getting their driver's license. And so this parent I was speaking to was talking about how her child has no interest in getting a license or driving, and she's fine with that because she knows where he is during the day and at night, and she's content to pick him up in the school parking lot and drop him off. And, that works for them, and she's happy about that he's not interested, and she's fine with doing the pickups and the drop-offs. And so it just makes me wonder, like, I don't know, what really? Do we not want to encourage our kids to be more independent in that sense? I don't know. That's how... I wonder how many other parents are doing that, though. Like, not necessarily holding their child back, but not encouraging them to meet certain milestones.
Yeah, it's maybe an extension of overprotective parenting of younger kids, in just that the feeling is that it's such a dangerous world out there. You know, you pick up the newspaper and you read about car accidents, and you read about, rapes, and you read about all this stuff that can happen out in the big wide world for young adults, and you think, well, you know what, my kid's home watching TV at night and not going out and not driving and not doing any of these things. That'll be okay for another 10 years. And let's bring back arranged marriage. You know what, the parents just get together. I've always said that I bet there are young men sitting home in their mother's house watching TV on a Saturday night. Why can't our two kids just, come over to one of the other's house and watch TV on the same sofa? You know, they don't have to go out to a club. They don't have to go out drinking. They don't have to go out driving.
But do you need to be in the same room as them, or are you going to let them be alone?
I would not be in the same room. I would be peeking from the hallway, but I would not be in the same room. I might possibly leave my phone out with the FaceTime on. I don't know. Things happen. You forget it. Well, fortunately, my house, there's really no place you can have complete privacy, because the acoustics are such that you can hear people talking everywhere. So I could totally hang out in my room with the door open and listen. But
well, I don't know.
I am unabashedly and unashamedly a helicopter parent. I go up to my son every now and then and go thump 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 thump, just to let him know. So,
just to remind him.
Just to remind him.
And you're proud.
I'm proud. I am not ashamed.
Helicopter and proud.
Well, I think this actually does lead us into our speed round, because we wanted to talk today on our speed round about bad parenting advice. So, maybe it's because you got advice from someone who was a generation or two removed from their child rearing days, and it wasn't very good. Or have you ever given bad parenting advice?
Never.
Maybe because
isn't that what we do here every week,
that
Catherine?
is our professional. Yeah, we're not going to admit to that. But anyway, maybe you can share something bad you've heard recently, or some bad advice you did receive, either back in the day or recently. I don't know. Terri, have you gotten some at any point that you want to share?
When I first adopted my kids, we got absolutely no advice or support from our adoption agency at all. We adopted 2 kids from Eastern Europe. Nobody knew anything at that point. All the research on adopting kids from Eastern Europe was done with my generation of kids. So now I find things online that have super, super good advice that nobody knew to give then. It's like I came upon an article the other day, and I shared it with my daughter, and it's like, if I had known this stuff, everything would have been different. So pretty much all of the advice I was given was bad. I still look back and resent all the advice that was basically, your kids have disabilities. They're never going to amount to anything. The sooner you accept that, the better. If you don't accept that, you are unrealistic. Mom is in denial, and it's like, well, to some extent, yeah, that's true. But on the other, who would ever tell any other parent, hey, expect the worst for your kid, start right now. Then you won't be disappointed. Yeah. And yet lots of kids don't turn out too great for no good reason. But you don't start with that.
And lots of kids who are you're told that they're not going to turn out great, do turn out.
But even if they don't, at least you start with hope.
Yeah, you don't.
Nobody else gets told, you know what, a kid's not going to amount to anything. Don't get your hopes up. Everybody's told, hey, hope for the best and let's see what happens. Kids with, at least my generation of parents of kids with special needs were told, the sooner you completely accept that your life is ruined, the easier things will go for you. So now, all the general talk of the disability community parenting of children with disability community has changed a lot and has become a lot more upbeat, I feel. Whether it's more realistic or not, I don't know, but it's a lot more pleasant to live with. I don't know, but I'm sure there are still therapists in schools today and teachers in schools today going, that mom, they just won't accept. Just won't accept how limited her child is.
Yeah.
So maybe that was good advice and I should have taken it. I don't know. There are days and then there are days, but I hated that advice and I still do.
Well, I hated, first of all, just being asked if my child was sleeping through the night because, if they are, then we have nothing to talk about. If they're not, I also don't want to talk about it. And then as soon as someone would find out, no, they're not sleeping through the night. Are you breastfeeding? Yes. Oh, well, you should give them formula or you should give them cereal and then they'll sleep.
And if you were giving them formula, they would have told you to do breastfeeding.
Yeah, are you kidding me? No. This is not why my kid is not sleeping. And even if it was, then I'm going to suck it up for a while. And, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was just, I also hated hearing, it'll get better soon because...
That is not helpful.
That is so not helpful. Yeah, maybe it will, but I can't see past, a day. I'm not looking as to what's going to happen in a month from now or 3 months or a year. That is way too hard. So just stop.
Yeah. Yeah. In general, things, when your kids are little, things that have long-term, are looking long-term are annoying. It's like, can I just get through today, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I can quite definitively say that the worst advice I ever received was from my mother, who suggested I move my sleeping baby.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah. He couldn't possibly have his naps in his car seat. He had to be taken out of the car seat and put into his crib. And I was so sleep deprived and so tired and just a mess that I, blindly took her advice. And that just set the wheels in motion for the next 20 years.
Have you told her that it's all her fault? Or you just silently resent her?
Silently. I just talk about it on this podcast.
There you go. Nobody tell Nicole's mom.
No. Worst advice ever.
Yeah, that's 101.
Move that sleeping.
Never wake a sleeping baby.
See, I was vulnerable and tired and okay, Mom, it was I don't know, 1 a.m. or something crazy because he hadn't been sleeping and I took him for a drive in the car seat and he fell asleep and I brought him in the house and I think I was crying by that point too, and I remember calling her up and, finally he's asleep and I'm so tired and I can't do this. And she said, well, you've got to take him out of that car seat. You can't leave him in there. Now that he's finally asleep, you have to take him out and put him in his bed. The rest is history. So, as you can tell, there's a certain theme with my responses in this podcast.
What I should have said earlier, the worst piece of advice I got was when my son toilet trained fairly late. And when he was, I don't know, maybe 4, his occupational therapist told me that I was infantilizing him by not forcing him to do it and that I should use suppositories.
What?
And she was disgusted with me that I would not do this, that I would not force him. And I said, he's really not ready. He doesn't feel when he has to go. There's no way this is going to work. And I held my ground despite all the eye rolls and the, charges of infantilizing him. And when he was ready, he trained in a day.
Mm-hmm.
It was like that. He was dry all night. Everything was great. Just, it's like, if you wait, this is my good advice for people, wait till they're ready. You'll save yourself a lot of trouble. But I have wanted so many times. I still know that occupational therapist, and I talk to her every now and then. I keep wanting to say, I was right and you were wrong. Worst advice ever.
For the record.
Oh, well.
Well, we certainly have a lot to say about these topics,
You
but
can tell we've brushed it all
we
off
must
and we're
move
not
on.
resenting it at all. We're very well
we
balanced.
buried it. We buried it.
We're going to be done with terrible parenting advice for now. But you could share
Never
yours
done.
with us if you have
Yes.
some whoppers that you'd like to share with the world. We are all ears. And you can also hear a new speed round every Monday through Thursday.
Great. So now we will bring you some of the things that we've read or seen or used recently that we like and are not resentful about and want to shout out and share with you. Terri, what do you have for
I'm
us?
very excited that I am going to be going once again to the gluten-free and allergen-friendly Expo that's held in Secaucus, New Jersey, but also various places around the country. I went to this a few years ago. I volunteered and I helped out and, selling tickets and stuff like that. And then I got to go in for free, got a free t-shirt. And it was so cool. It was like a road trip without the car, Nicole, because it's just tables and tables and tables of free samples. Yes. You just go around and knowing everything there is gluten-free also was awesome. And it was so much fun. I had like the best egg rolls I have ever had on a sample booth.
Wow.
There. I meant to look up the name of the company, but I'll put it in our show notes. They were so great. And they don't sell them by me, but I saw them once when I was on vacation and I bought them. And just have found such great thing. There was like in the back corner, there was like a little bakery and they had, I think I got some like apple bread or pumpkin bread and brought home. And it was just so much fun. I mean, whether you're gluten-free or not, if spending a day walking around getting samples of different kinds of food sounds good for you, and who would it not sound good to? You should try to go to this thing. So I'm going to have some promo codes to share if people want to go and get some money off, and some free tickets for anybody who wants to go in New Jersey. And I'll put all that information probably either on our podcast page or our Facebook page, and I will have a link to it. But you'll be hearing me talk more about it because I'm like an official blogger for it, even though I'm really podcasting and not blogging. But I really, really enjoyed it. It was really fun and interesting to go to. And if you have one near you, check it out. It's fun and delicious.
Awesome. And Catherine, what do you have for us?
Well, I feel like I often recommend podcasts during this segment, and they're often NPR affiliated podcasts, but nevertheless, here we go again. They have a new one that's called Rough Translation, and it is about stories from around the world, basically, and just really interesting things that they can kind of sink their teeth into, almost like This American Life, only it's not American. it's about things happening around the world. And like there was one about a woman in Oregon who served as a surrogate for a mother in China and the complexities involved with that. There was another one that was about a man who was in prison in Somalia, and the man in the neighboring cell taught him like a coded language with knocks on the wall.
Wow.
Like taps on the wall, and then he read to him the entire book of Anna Karenina.
Wow.
Based on like tapping it out letter by letter. And he said it saved his life because he was in solitary confinement and he was really losing it, and this communication and this in particular this book really helped him get through it.
Okay.
So anyway, those are a couple of the stories they've done. It's called Rough Translation, and it's from NPR.
Cool.
Oh, awesome. And I'm going to shout out a series that I just finished watching on Netflix called Ozark, and stars Justin Bateman, and I think he also produces some of the
Jason Bateman.
episodes. Jason, what is it, Justin?
Because you're thinking of Justine.
Okay,
I was
Jason.
thinking, were they Justin and Justine? I didn't remember that.
Yeah, no, you're right. Jason Bateman. Okay. It would help if I got the main actor's name correct. Anyway, it's a really good watch. It's interesting, and we couldn't we couldn't turn off the TV. It was definitely worthy of your time if you are looking for a new series to watch.
Excellent.
So,
Well, let me insert in here what I forgot to say on mine, which is that the Expo in Secaucus is October 14th and 15th. And also that the egg rolls, the awesome egg rolls I got were from Feel Good Foods. Check them out in a freezer case near you because they were really quite wonderful. And having shamelessly promoted those things, I will now, for our final segment today, we're going to do a little shameless self-promotion and direct you to some things on our sites that we think you should take a look at. Nicole, anything going on with your book?
well, surprise, surprise. Yes. I got an email today giving me some very important milestones in the publishing process. And it looks like it will be up for pre-sale in December. So
Ooh,
things
soon.
are moving along.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'll be signing off on the manuscript here in a couple of weeks or in a week or so. And then we'll be looking at proofs for its layout and its interior design. So yeah, it's, we're finally getting to the fun stuff, the exciting stuff. And so the book will be on the shelf by April. So, and it can be ordered through the publisher's website, Brooks Publishing, or Amazon. Wow. So very exciting.
Are you still going to talk to us when you're a famous author?
I don't know. You might have to book a session.
Authoring didn't make me famous, but it could work for you, babe.
Yeah.
We can always hope.
This is definitely, hopefully this will be a good resource.
It's a small niche, so you could be famous within that
very
niche.
Small niche.
Take it where you can
Exactly.
get it. So, Catherine, what are you promoting?
Well, since I don't have anything particular to mention, I think I will use my time to encourage our listeners to go and review us on Apple Podcasts.
Oh, yes, please.
Just so that helps other people find us and it makes us feel good. So
yes,
please
no small
go
thing.
over there and just a sentence. That's all it takes.
We don't ask for much.
That's right. So we would love to hear from you over there.
Excellent. And I will also promote a Parenting Roundabout related thing because I also still have not worked on my websites. But it is once again Dancing with the Stars season, and Catherine and I will be watching it and talking about it every Monday night. Well, we'll talk about it on Monday night when it's over, or Tuesday night when it's a 2-night thing, and then you will get it on either Tuesday or Wednesday, depending. The day after, around 5 o'clock, you will be able to hear our thoughts on it. But seems to be like it could be a really, really fun season. So as much as I'm always looking forward to it, I'm looking forward to it even more now because there's really nobody I hate so far.
Yay.
There's nobody who I'm crossing off the week saying, when are we going to get rid of this person? So they still, they got plenty of time to disappoint me. But for now, I think it's going to be a good season. So tune into our round 2s. If you just go to our website at parentingroundabout.com, you'll find them. Or, would it kill you to subscribe? And then it'll just pop right onto your phone.
Right up in your feed.
Or podcast listening device.
That's right.
And you will say, that's right, I meant to listen to that. And there you go.
There it is. All right. Well, that's going to be it for this week's episode of Parenting Roundabout. We hope you enjoyed it and that you'll join us every week. You can listen to podcast episodes at parentingroundabout.com or download them from Apple Podcasts or wherever you like to get your podcasts. Please subscribe, as Terri just said, so you can get all of our podcasts and mini podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter. I am at @CHaleko. Nicole is at Nicole Eridix, and Terri is at Mamatude. You can follow the podcast on Twitter. That's at Roundabout Chat. And look for us on Facebook, Pinterest, Tumblr, YouTube, and Instagram. Best of all, stop by our podcast page at parentingroundabout.com and read recaps, find links on everything we've mentioned, and talk back in the comments. Thanks to John Morin for providing our in and out music, and I wish everyone a great week.